What's up, everyone? I'm going to show you how to test a referral program growth channel or an affiliate program for your company for free. And I basically built this for Reflect. It's the app I'm in right now, and I'm the head of growth for it. And I wanted to test it as a growth channel. But as I was researching out of the box tools, I was shocked at how expensive some of them were. When really all that I wanted was to give users of Reflect their own unique tracking link so that they could send that link to whoever they want, friends and family. And I could just see how many people signed up from that link to give them an incentive. In my case, I'm going to test with stickers, but I might add later tiers if it works out. So I'm going to walk you through exactly how to build this test. And then if it works, you can use one of those more expensive out of the box tools, but super basic functionality. And we're going to do it all with UTM links. Okay, so step number one here, you're going to need to decide on the model and the incentive. And there's going to be pros and cons depending on your product and what you want to accomplish. So like I said, I'm starting with stickers, a merchandise model, and can add higher tiers later if I want to. The upside for that is it's great if you have a strong brand that people are very proud of and loyal to. Note taking falls into that category. People are typically very opinionative and passionate about the tools that they use for productivity. I also think we have a cool logo, so it could work well for that. So I'm starting with, like I said, stickers. It's just really cheap. And then I can develop tiers based on how many people refer and mail those things out. You could also do a product reward where you have a free version of your product, a discount or something, a free month or whatever, for people rewarding different people. Or you could just have a straight monetary incentive where you give people a certain dollar amount or 10 or 20% of the sales that they make. And that's actually more of an affiliate program, which for the record, I'm a huge fan of. It's one of the best consumer growth channels, I think, because it just pulls in like content, word of mouth, like you even get SEO off of it. It just pulls in a lot of things. So I am a big fan of affiliate. Maybe someday I will test one for Reflect, but there's ups and downs to all of these. So merchandise is annoying because you have to deal with the faff of actually figuring out something that's cool enough. And then, getting it when people refer, you have to mail it out. It's a little annoying. Product rewards are the easiest to do, but they're also typically the least compelling out of the three. People are already using their product. Unless you just have an insanely expensive one, they're probably not going to be that incentivized to get a free version. And there's not actually that big of a downside with the money one. It's mostly upsides, but I guess if you have a low price point, it can be difficult to pull that one off. Okay, so let's talk about how to actually set up and confirm the UTM tracking. So that's how we're going to generate the links and how you're going to share it with people. You can use Google Analytics. That's the easiest way. If you have BigQuery set up, you can use that to pull into a tool like Hey Equals, which is what I use. It's kind of like a SQL spreadsheet hybrid with AI built in. It's very cool. Would highly recommend checking it out. But if you just have Google Analytics set up, you can do it all with Google Analytics and the spreadsheet. And if you've never done this before, by which I mean UTM links and tracking, ChatGPT it. It's going to be able to walk you through it pretty quickly, probably in like 30 minutes. You can have it set up. It's very, very easy. We're talking super basic analytics here. Okay. So number three, what you're going to do before I start showing you all of actually all of this is you want to find your loyal and active customers. So first you want active users. Reflect is a note-taking app. So I chose daily active users, but imagine if you're something like a wedding planning software who you ideally will only want to use once in your life. That's not going to be a daily active user, or maybe you'd be a daily active user for a set period. Whatever it is, choose the parameter that you consider a highly active user. And then you want to make sure they're loyal, by which they've been using you for a while, so they're pretty psyched. I chose, I think, a little bit over a year. Again, this is just going to depend on your product and your life cycle. And know that when you select and filter these people, your stats are going to be a bit better than, when you just release it to everyone, because you are choosing your most active and loyal customers. All right, so let's now get into the fun part. So generating the unique UTM link for each one. So this is really easy. Just Google UTM link generator and you're going to land on Google Analytics, which is where this is. And I'm not even logged into anything. You can just generate these as you want. You can put in your URL. I chose these in a kind of funky way. So I did referral as the source, email as the medium, and then I put in my last name as sort of the test user. In reality, you'd probably want to use something like a user or customer ID. I'm not sure I would really recommend using the last name, but for the test, makes it easy. And when you put in all of those formats, it's going to create the link here with each of these components inside. Sorry, I'm just giving a crash course on UTM links, but I do think it's important to understand how the tracking works. And then you can literally just copy this link and send it to people over email or whatever. I don't really recommend shortening it because I just feel like people will get a little bit sketched out by a hidden link. And it's nice to actually see the product name in the actual URL. So if they want to shorten it, they can. I would share the whole thing with them, copy that, send it to them, and then add it to a tracking sheet. So here is my actual one, which is why I've blocked out all of the actual information. But I just put a status column, a customer name column, their email, their ID, their campaign name, which is actually the same as their ID in the way I use it for it. That's why I crossed out source. And then you just post the link in there so that you know where to track it. And then as you see them come in, you can add them to this sheet. You can use it as the same tracking sheet. And so if I go to one of my export docs here, again, I've stripped out all of the sensitive information, but I can see the test that I did here on April 1st, a couple of days ago. So I've got all of the UTM components, and this is really what I want to know. So, well, actually, that's not true. I want the referral as well. And so what I can then do at the end of the month is I can just filter all of my attribution sources by referral. And then I can go through each one of the names and just tally up in the spreadsheet how many conversions I got off each one. And then I can send them, the incentive, whether it's merchandise, monetary, whatever it is, at the end of each week or each month, however often you want to do it. Now, I know what you're thinking. That all sounds very manual. It is very manual. It's extremely manual. That's why this is a test and that's why it's free. So then I guess kind of going back down here, tracking the conversions and sending those out. This is what I was just talking about. And I really think, a lot of this is going to be up to you. What is considered a success for this experiment is going to be up to you. But do make sure you do a small enough test group that you're not going to get overwhelmed. So just off the top of my head, I think I sent ours out to like 100, 150 people. I think maybe 20 responded. And so I had to create like 20, 25 links. And then that's all that I have to kind of track. Pretty manageable. And then once I figure out that works, I can go explore some of these out of the box solutions that maybe are, a little bit more expensive, a little bit more difficult to set up, but then they're going to be super, super scalable. And so I think that's pretty much it for this experiment. If you have any questions or if there's any component of this missing, just drop a comment and I'll try and answer it. But it's really not that complicated. I think this is a fantastic way to test a number of different growth channels.